Hi, I'm Rose with today's Tuesday teaching tip. Today's tip is a lesson on an inquiry study in a way, which is a way to learn new information by being curious. Curiosity piques students' interest, and when their interest is piqued, they tend to learn a lot more than just being presented material. And so, the conventions of writing, including learning punctuation marks, tends to be one of those lessons that gets kind of boring, that kids, they don't necessarily struggle with, but they don't like doing because it's just very clinical. And so a fun way to do it is through experiential learning or through inquiry. So one of the best ways that I've found to learn about punctuation is by using an author called Mo Willems and using his books. He does pigeon and puppy books. And so this one here is one of his newer books, and it's called Guess What? And even looking at the title here, Guess What? When you look at the punctuation marks, your kids will probably maybe have never used this in their own writing or have seen it in books. What do you do with that? Are you asking a question or are you excited? Well, let's figure it out. What do you think? Guess what? And so you're asking a question in an excited way. If this exclamation point wasn't here, it would probably be, guess what? But because this exclamation point is here, you add a little excitement to that question by saying, guess what? And so Mo Willems uses punctuation in very unique ways. And so doing a punctuation search and inquiry study using his books is really fun. His books are very high interest for students. Again, you can do this with students, lower grades, upper grades. You can do this with various ages at one time doing these lessons because different age kids are going to pick up different bits of information about this using this technique. And so he introduces some of the characters that will be in this book. And it's really cute because they have the table of contents here and they have some little jokes. Look, Zip Squirrel, I found a bagel of contents. Thanks, Boom Squirrel, but I'll use this table of contents. And then here are the table of contents, the big story. Later on page 59, they're going to have a corny joke about an acorn, no doubt. And so they'll go through the table of contents here. This is interesting. This is kind of a little cheat sheet for your kiddos. Not only does this inquiry study help them understand punctuation marks and how to use punctuation marks in different ways, but he also gives you this little cheat sheet here. When you have an exclamation point, it can be a number of reasons why that exclamation point is there. You're reading it in an angry tone. You're reading it in an exciting tone. You're reading it just in a mad or frustrated or encouraging. You can do it. That's an exclamation point, but it's an encouraging way. And so these little acorns here help your student understand how is that punctuation mark being used. So this helps with the conventions of writing, and it also helps with being a good reader and saying these or reading it in a way it was intended by the author. And so the big story. Guess what? 7 days ago. Hi, Zoom, squirrel. Guess what? He's very excited here. How do I know he's excited? Because right here, this little cheat sheet, this little acorn right here tells me, if I go back over here, how I'm supposed to read that. And it says here, excited. So that's an excited acorn. All right, so I read that correctly. I'm going to the beach in 7 days. So again, this one's here. How are you supposed to read that one? I'm going to the beach in 7 days. It's an acorn with a smiley face. Let's see if I read that correctly. Happy. So you're going to read that one in a happy tone. So he's not really yelling, I'm going to the beach in 7 days. He's saying it happily. I'm going to the beach in 7 days. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to read it. Good for you. How do I know they're just reading it that way? Because there's a period. Good for you. Squirrel friends. So how is he saying that? He's calling out to them. So he's saying it. This is letting you know he's saying it out loud. He's kind of shouting, squirrel friends. Some squirrel is going to the beach in 6 days. Guess who? Okay, and so if you look here, this one, all capital letters, and this is bold print, and you have 3 exclamation points. So I think, and looking at the pictures here, he must be shouting this. Not only is he's excited, but he's also shouting. This one shows that he's happy, but the picture, the bold and all capitalized letters, and 3 exclamation points tell me that he's shouting this in a happy way. And so you go through the book with your students and you look at how Mo Willems uses punctuation marks. Don't try and do this all in one day because the excitement will wear out quickly because this book is filled with so much emotion that eventually you'll just become exhausted. But this is a good way for students to learn different ways to use punctuation, periods, exclamation points, question marks, to learn how to be a good reader and writer using that type of punctuation. So again, I hope this helps a little bit. And it kind of, sometimes, especially this time of the year, you get kind of into the doldrums of these cold days and you're staying in and your lessons are getting kind of tired. Hey, take a quick break and do a punctuation study using Mo Willems.